he visited Germany, and he just told me that we have to watch at least one of
We know how tough it is being away from home. Being a former Army man myself, I know what being away from home is like. So we thought we would bring a little bit of home to you. And there's no better reminder of home than McDonald's. So I hope you enjoy it. I want to thank Tim and his entire McDonald's team. Let's give McDonald's a round of applause. Secretary of Commerce. There is nothing more important in America.
But when we met earlier this week, right before he left for the Balkans, he was so excited because he thought that along with these business leaders and the other very able people from the Commerce Department on this mission, that they would be able to use the power of the American economy to help the peace take hold in the Balkans, to help people in that troubled place have the kind of decent, honorable, and wonderfully ordinary lives that we Americans too often take for granted.
It's very brief.
I just want to express my sadness because he was a personal friend and I used to see him often and we have discussed often about the future of the United Nations, the role of the United States in the United Nations. So I have lost a good and a personal friends.
Our condolences.
Thank you, General. I am honored to be with all of you this morning and to be here with business leaders from the United States. The General had it right. We're now moving to the second phase of our policy. I want to first tell you how proud I am. We all are of you. You are really in the vanguard of our effort to secure the peace. But we know that as peace comes, the people in this area expect their lives to change for the better. And the way that we can assure that that happens is through reconstruction and development, through economic opportunity, through the creation of jobs. And that's why it's so important to have business leaders from the United States here, so that as we play a lead role in securing the peace, we also play a lead role in bringing stability and bringing prosperity. As Americans, being the one superpower.
Naše su sad aktivnosti usmjerene na suradnju sa američkom stranom u otkrivanju svih uzroka koji su doveli do ovog udesa. Komisije rade, svi relevantni dokumenti će biti na raspolaganju. Ja se nadam da ćemo doći do zaključaka kako se ova uzročna nesreća dogodila.
The cooperation between IFOR and my country and the Croatian government has been superb. From the moment the plane disappeared from the radar, the Prime Minister had ordered search and rescue operations to begin. From the time that the plane was located yesterday evening, within an hour or two, there were more than 100 Croatian special police and military forces at the site searching for survivors.
I didn't know that we are all going together.
At 1:30 this afternoon, 35 sets of remains have been removed from the crash site and are now in the mortuary. We believe that completes that phase of the operation. The investigating team is on site at the crash site and is continuing their work.
The plane was not where it should have been, and it seems to have flown up not along the coast, but along a valley, one ridge over. But beyond that, I can't. I don't want to speculate on what might have caused the crash.
Can you definitively rule out any possibility of hostile fire?
There's no evidence of any hostile fire.
We were informed that voice recorder exists, and it is in the tail in that type of the aircraft, but they are also searching for the black box, so probably they will find it.
Be named Secretary of Commerce. There is nothing more important in America.
Very
I
brief.
just want to express my sadness because he was a personal friend and I used to see him often, and we have discussed often about the future of the United Nations, the role of the United States in the United Nations. So I have lost a good and a personal friend.
Our condolences.
Our military people and the business leaders who were on that mission. We thank God for their lives. We prayed for their families, and we came together in our grief and rededication.
The plane was not where it should have been, and it seems to have flown up not along the coast, but along a valley, one ridge over. But beyond that, I can't. I don't want to speculate on what might have caused the crash.
our military people and the business leaders who were on that mission. We thank God for their lives. We prayed for their families, and we came together in our grief and rededication.
Now they're showing where, I think where the plane went down. Real traffic. Yeah.
So we'll definitely pass it on.
Man. Knowing her, she will want to leave work immediately. With all of the local urban leagues. He was dinner speaker, luncheon speaker, fundraiser. He was the man.
He would come to the offices just to talk with the people who worked there. He was a very friendly, outgoing, you know, he liked to be in touch with everybody. So we knew him. I mean, he was a very, very nice guy.
But it's really going to be a tremendous loss if he's gone, you know. And my heart goes out to the family, very much so, if this is the case.
From where we were, the end of this road, there is still a large distance before you can even get anywhere near the aircraft. So no, even from the end of the road, the plane is still not visible.
So you haven't been to the scene of the crash?
No, we go as far forward as we can to assist the rescue teams.
IFO has rescue teams out there?
Yeah, there is a dedicated team now on the other side.
How many people?
Quite a large number of people.
What was the platoon or?
No, larger than a platoon. There's probably 40 people on there at the moment.
there will be an expert investigation by those who are qualified to do these things. I can simply state two facts. First, that the weather yesterday, as the plane flew in, was terrible. In fact, people in Dubrovnik say that this is the worst storm in a decade. I can say, secondly, that the plane was not where it should have been, and it seems to have flown up not along the coast, but along a valley one ridge over. But beyond that, I can't. I don't want to speculate on what might have caused the crash.
Can you definitively rule out any possibility of hostile fire?
There's no evidence of any hostile fire. The nationalities of those who were aboard were Americans and Croatians. There are two Croatians on board, a photographer and an interpreter.
There was 5 aircrafts landed before the Minister Brown, so, but final judgment is always in the hands of the captain.
.1:30 this afternoon, 35 sets of remains have been removed from the crash site and are now in the mortuary. We believe that completes that phase of the operation. The investigating team is on site at the crash site and is continuing their work.
If all had gone according to plan, the plane carrying Ron Brown would have landed safely at Dubrovnik's airport. Instead, the US Air Force plane crashed on this hillside, leaving Ron Brown and 34 others dead. The investigators aboard this almost identical aircraft are trying to work out why that happened. They've covered the same flight path to try and pinpoint what went wrong.
The final results of the investigation will probably be late this month, but again, we're not on a strict timetable. Our goal is to find out what happened, and we'll take as long as we need to.
The Boeing 737 was flown out from Panama for these tests. As the aircraft follows the flight path, investigators are checking for any anomaly that may explain the crash.
Yes, indeed. I'm just up in my office at the moment with 𝗔𝗽𝗿, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. This accident has all the hallmarks of a classic kind of aircraft accident, by which I mean the weather was pretty appalling. It was not so appalling that you couldn't have made an attempt to land. However, you'd have had to have been very careful. The weather was pretty appalling. The approach is not absolutely standard, and therefore you'd have had to have been extremely careful making it. When pilots make mistakes under those conditions, it is not amazing. But they don't pose any real skill problems. It would be desirable to carry flight data recorders and cockpit voice recorders on every aeroplane, whether it's civil or military. And the reason why is because if there is an accident, you find out as much as there is to know about that accident, with the intention of making sure that such an accident should not happen again.
The aircraft carrying Secretary Brown was one of 2 of its type configured for passenger airlift and with nearly identical avionics. We've brought one of those aircraft here, the other one, from Howard Air Force Base in Panama to conduct in-flight tests. As you saw today, the aircraft made several passes, several approaches into 𝗔𝗽𝗿𝗶𝗹 Airport, as well as flew along the exact same flight path as the accident aircraft. Investigators are using the avionics on board and other equipment, navigation aids and so forth, to evaluate and record any potential in-flight anomalies. Once they're completed here, that will probably be tomorrow, we'll take that information back to Ramstein and incorporate it into the investigation process.
These 33 lives show us the best of America. They are a stern rebuke to the cynicism that is all too familiar today. For as family after family after family told the Vice President and Hillary and me today, their loved ones were proud of what they were doing. They believed in what they were doing. They believed in this country. They believed we could make a difference. Whether soldiers or civil servants or committed citizens, they were patriots. In their memory and in their honor, let us rededicate our lives to our country and to our fellow citizens. In their memory and in their honor, let us resolve to continue their mission of peace and healing and progress. We must not let their mission fail, and we will not let their mission fail.
Both of whom died in the accident. We wish to express our sincere condolences to all the families of the 76th Airlift Squadron crew members and Team Ramstein during this time of their loss.
come together to praise God and to witness to our faith as we celebrate the lives of Captain Ashley J. Davis, Captain Timothy W. Schaefer, Tech Sergeant Cheryl A. Turnage, Tech Sergeant Shelley A. Kelly, Staff Sergeant Jake Aldridge, and Staff Sergeant Robert Farrington, Jr. Let us pray. O God who gives life, you are always more ready to heal.
Secretary Brown and his party were on a trade mission, but it wasn't a mission just about business.
Senator Brown I njegovi suradnici bili su u jednoj poslovnoj trgovačkoj misiji, međutim to nije tako.
It was a mission about translating the peace that was on paper, signed in Dayton, and the separate one that was signed in Erdut, into reality on the ground.
Neka nam pokaže svoje putove, Krist vječna mudrost, neka nas nauči riječi istine, Duh Sveti, blažno.